Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do a video today that's a little less enthusiastic for me to do, but I think it's necessary. I like to showcase cool gear, and upcoming Capital Audio Fest, I'm going to be featuring even more of that. I've shown you recently Magicos, Estalons, MBLs, really cool gear, Acoras, Spatials. I've also shown you from Cedia stuff from the AV side, and then even in the membership section, some clips from there. And then even some fun stuff, just Halloween display. And those are all the stuff I like to cover and give you guys variety. The one thing I typically avoid on this channel, at least in the public section, not the membership section, is talking about more controversial things and things such as what brands to avoid and things in my experience that I haven't been all that enthused with. I rather focus on the stuff I'm enthused with on the public channel. But I think it's important to give a macro take on one of the biggest mistakes I see audiophiles making, because there's a lot of these videos out there. Oh, audiophiles are dumb, full of crap, all this clickbait type titles, and then they create a video which is just caricatures and straw man arguments to make the video seem interesting. You know, really it boils down, although I think I will give credit to Audiophiles. I think they did a video recently on mistakes that audiophiles make, and these were actual some good tangible suggestions that they made. And maybe one day I'll get into those minutia level things from an audiophile perspective. But I wanted to focus on something that came up recently in terms of brands to avoid, and particularly one brand that is probably the worst brand I've ever come across in the hobby. I'm not going to call them out publicly on the channel. Now, people in the membership area, we have a full interview with the guys at 3MA who had an experience with this brand as well. My friend Doug has had an experience with this brand, and you will be able to probably figure it out, even if you're not a member, by watching my videos with my friend Doug's system. I do give a hint in those videos, but what I wanted to give is more of a macro takeaway instead of focusing on one brand. The issue is that the number one mistake I see audiophiles make is not with choosing speakers, gear, cables. You know, there's a lot of people that will talk about that being dumb and whatnot and polarizing. But at the end of the day, if you're happy and it's your money, you can do whatever you want. So, but it comes down to another aspect of that phrase that people aren't thinking about: your money and where it's going. For me, one thing I've learned over the years is get to know the people behind the brands where I'm spending the money. That, to me, is the biggest mistake people make. They just buy based on audiophile reviews or lowest price or some other metric without ever getting to know the people behind the brand. And that's where some of these brands who have big marketing budgets and spend more on marketing than they do on actual production have kind of fooled people. And quite frankly, a lot of these reviewers are in the pockets of these guys. So if you're taking their advice, that's another big mistake that you make, is not knowing the reviewer themselves. And that's why I always tell you, question what I say as well. Come over here and hear for yourself if you hear ear to ear with me, or buy some of the things that I have and see if you hear ear to ear with me. Don't just arbitrarily take XYZ reviewer, no matter how many followers they take. In fact, sometimes that's it's the inverse relationship that you're looking for. But also use your own intuition, not anybody else's. Get to know the people, go to the shows if you can, and get to know the people behind it, because that's where I have elevated brands in my experience versus just listening alone. A perfect example is Mirror Audio. When I first heard their speaker the first time they came out, I wasn't that impressed with the sound of it. But as I got to know the guys behind it and then heard their iterations as they got even more advanced and tweaked the design, now that's one of my favorite open baffle speakers and one of the most underrated ones that people should be looking at. Same thing with the Acora guys. They got a lot of praise back in Florida for being able to fill a room, and that was just kind of, that was not the takeaway that I think most people should have had with how great those speakers are. Any speakers would have sounded like a concert arena in there. But getting to know the guys behind it, getting to spend some time listening more, these are the things that provide utmost value to you in the long run. And then once you find brands that you can trust, and dealers too, I feature 3MA. Again, once you find these people you can trust, Steve McCormick, and then I've also recently introduced to you guys Rex, the audiophile electrician, then your audiophile journey becomes so much easier. You feel good about not only spending the money with these people, but you know that they have your back because you have that trust factor that makes it so much better than just willy-nilly following XYZ person, pseudo expert on the forums, or even XYZ reviewer who you really don't know, especially like I've said before, some of these people, when you go into their rooms, I've talked to people that have gone into their rooms. They should not be reviewing anything. So again, this is just a tip. And what I'm going to do to further highlight the point of this one brand is I'm going to put up an email that Luis at 3MA got from this distributor. It's really the distributor behind the brand in North America that's the real problem. But I'm not going to leave out the names, but just so you can see how they talked to somebody that they had taken their gear for I think it's over a year, close to 2 years, trying to repair, and how they talked to Luis just trying to get their gear back. They were paying for the repair, and how they talked unprofessional. And that's just a tip of the iceberg compared to what I could share with my friend Doug's experience with this same distributor. So I just want to give that macro point. Some of you will be able to figure out who I'm talking about, and that's fine. Join the membership section if you want more details and a whole video dedicated to it. But again, it's a thing that I think it's overlooked in terms of mistakes audiophiles make, is not knowing where your money's going, and getting that trust factor makes your journey so much easier. So without further ado, I'll show you a little bit more, though, extra lanyard material of my Halloween display that I put in a short recently. And happy Halloween to everybody. Make sure you attend Spectacular Audio Fest at 3MA coming up. In fact, some of the brands you'll get to meet, Magico, and I think Nordost will be there, so you'll get to AB stuff. They did ABs last year. You'll get to talk to them and see if their brands and their products resonate with you. All right, guys, sign up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you back here soon.
It was a graveyard smash.